The man that never misses. One with the power of the Emperor's stand. An Avenger with no powers, but yet able to stand side by side with Hulk, Thor, Captain America, and Iron Man. A man hired by Dio to eliminate the Stardust Crusaders. A man with enough skill to go up against the likes of Ultron and Thanos. A man with the power to kill a fellow beloved Stardust Crusader. A master archer in a world filled with superhumans and gods. A charming gunslinger in a world filled with unique stand users. When it comes to these two men, they rely on their skill and strategy to back up their deadly precision. To see which one of these men will come out on top, we'll have to see whose arrow or bullet truly never misses. Before we dive into our fellow marksmen here, I just want to say we will not be discussing their physical attributes, and we will not be talking about them because they're both basically just regular people overall. So we will be mainly discussing their skill, arsenal, and battle IQ. Alright, let's not waste time. Let's talk about our first guy.
I never miss!
Honestly, I'm pretty impressed with what I've seen from MCU Hawkeye, but he really subverted my expectations, I'm not gonna lie. So, yeah, let me talk about him. So, let's get started with Hawkeye's equipment. Hawkeye carries his iconic bow and arrows. He can carry a concealed baton. He has a staff, which the staff is the bow that transforms into the staff. He can also carry swords and daggers, which swords in this battle is probably not really gonna matter. He's also got different types of arrows that he carries along with him, and I also have like a whole list of them too. So I'm gonna quickly tell you each type of arrow that this guy has. He has normal piercing arrows. He's got spread arrows, he's got melting arrows, he's got explosion arrows, he's got timed explosion arrows, he's got a zipline arrow, he's got a USB arrow, he's got a shock trap arrow, he's got an elemental spread arrows, which I actually didn't even notice that in Civil War. He's got a Pym arrow, which either shrinks or grows. He has a flash arrow. He has a needle spread arrow, he has a freezing arrow, he has a trank spread arrow, he's got a gas arrow, he's got a bouncy bag arrow, he's got a shockwave arrow. Yeah, he probably has a lot of different types of other arrows too. That's all the ones I could find. Although he has all these different types of arrows, he does have a limited amount of arrows that he can use, which he does run out of arrows from time to time. But this usually isn't a problem for him since he's got like extra arrows like stashed on his body through like nanotech stuff. Alright, now let's talk about Hawkeye's skills. Hawkeye can take on multiple Ultron drones, he can efficiently use throwing knives, he's also got really good sword fighting, his arrow shots are also very precise. To give you some examples of how precise he really is, Hawkeye can shoot directly into a USB from a distance, he can shoot his own arrow in the air, he can shoot fast moving vehicles, he can also shoot without even looking. Yeah, that one's crazy. Even if he wasn't even doing any ranged combat, he would be good up close. Hawkeye is able to keep up with the likes of Black Widow and Yelena. During his fight with Black Widow in Civil War, Scarlet Witch actually tells him that he's actually holding back his punches against her. Hawkeye can also somewhat keep up with Black Panther, and Black Panther is pretty comparable to Captain America and Winter Soldier. Hawkeye is also very aware of his surroundings. For example, he was aware that Scarlet Witch was behind him whenever she snuck up on him, and again, this guy can shoot without looking. Hawkeye is able to outrun the aliens from Infinity War and able to handle a few of them. A few of these aliens actually overwhelmed Captain America and Black Panther during Infinity War. Hawkeye is actually very tactical too. He was able to trip up Quicksilver, he was also able to get Vision into his shock trap, and he was able to trip up Iron Man during Civil War. Now, everything I've talked about so far is actually really good for Hawkeye, but durability wise, this guy is still a normal guy. He can get scraped by blasts, he can get shot, he can get knocked out by Black Widow's punch. Yeah, this guy's durability is still pretty average. Now, I do believe that is everything for Hawkeye now. So, let's talk about the man, the myth, the legend, the whole horse. Now, we're going to be talking about Whole Horse a little differently than Hawkeye. We're going to be talking more about Whole Horse's stand rather than Whole Horse himself, and I'll get to why that is eventually. For now, let's get started on Whole Horse's stand, which is the Emperor. But before we talk about the Emperor, let's talk about what a stand is. A stand is a physical manifestation of a person's life energy. It can be psychically generated by its owner, which can present itself as a spiritual figure hovering over or near the user, possessing abilities beyond that of any ordinary human. This can include abilities like stopping time, creating bombs out of any anything you touch or giving anything life. Some stands can even possess superhuman physicality. Normal people that do not possess a stand cannot see other stands. Alright, I think that's enough about stands now. Let's talk about the Emperor. So the Emperor is a stand that takes form of a gun that can shoot bullets, and is also able to control their trajectory in mid-air. The Emperor's bullets can change trajectory to dodge other projectiles or physical attacks. This can be seen during Whole Horse's fight with Silver Chariot, whenever the bullet reacted to Silver Chariot's speed. However, Whole Horse was fighting an unarmored Silver Chariot, and an unarmored Silver Chariot is fast enough to create 6 shadow clones through movement, and Silver Chariot with his armor on is already able to keep up with Star Platinum, and Star Platinum is able to catch a bullet point blank and able to throw a flurry of punches in seconds. It was stated by Kiriyoshi Kage when he was getting hit by Star Platinum. He described that Star Platinum was so fast it felt like it stopped time, and Star Platinum was too injured to use the world at this moment. And do keep in mind that this was a Star Platinum that was not in its prime at the time. And so why am I talking so much about Star Platinum and Silver Chariot? Because one of the Emperor's bullets was able to dodge Silver Chariot's attacks, which shows that these bullets have some pretty insane reaction time. Now, if a bullet were to miss someone, it would be able to come back and hit a target from behind. These bullets are able to change the trajectory so well that they can actually maneuver through a pipeline system. The Emperor is also shown to shoot multiple bullets with no sign of physical ammo usage. The Emperor and its bullets are just as effective as any other gun out there. Alright, even with all this insane scaling with Star Platinum and Silver Chariot, Whole Horse himself has some drawbacks. Whole Horse is still a normal guy in general, still capable of being injured by gunshots or any physical attacks. Whole Horse is also a very cowardly person and relies on a partner to be fully confident in his abilities, and the Emperor does have a limited range. Alright, I do believe that is everything for Whole Horse. Alright, so now we are at the question of who would win, Hawkeye or Whole Horse. And what do I think? I think Hawkeye wins this more than Whole Horse. Hawkeye just has a better track record than Whole Horse here. Hawkeye has dealt with forces of Ultron and Thanos, and was able to come out of all of that alive. He also just has so much versatility in his arrows too. Like it's gonna be too much for Whole Horse. And if you were to combine all that versatility with Hawkeye's tricky thinking, like what he did with Quicksilver, Vision, and Iron Man, it would really be too much for Whole Horse. And Whole Horse does not really have the best track record. He's always running away from fights and always needing to team up with someone to boost his confidence. But I'm talking about Whole Horse here. I'm not even talking about the Emperor yet. The Emperor is actually a really good stand. It just sucks to see it go to waste on Whole Horse. If Whole Horse was an actual capable stand user, he'd be more like a Yondu, but with like a really cracked out arrow. Now, if we're talking about a Hawkeye versus the Emperor itself with a different stand user, a more competent one, then I think a competent stand user with the Emperor would actually one-tap Hawkeye. It's gonna be like a Hawkeye versus Yondu matchup, and for that matchup alone, I would think that Yondu would win that one. I will however say that the Emperor does not have as much range as Yondu's arrow. Since the Emperor has limited range, it kind of holds it back in this matchup since Hawkeye does not have that limited range that the Emperor has. I will also say that Hawkeye wouldn't be able to see the Emperor since he's not a stand user. But we're talking about Hawkeye versus Whole Horse, and Whole Horse is not a competent stand user. So if Whole Horse were to actually win this, it would probably just be through the condition of him having the full confidence to use his stand. But since Whole Horse isn't the most confident guy, Hawkeye does win this matchup more often. And all I have to say about this is, at least Hawkeye didn't go up against Mista and his Sex Pistols.